welcome back. Bezrat Hashem, Pasuk Hey. Kad avadu ama bnei Yisrael yaf egla. We're having some pretext here that Rabbi Yosef is teaching us. It takes a turn. I mean, it occurred at that same event at Har Sinai. Unfortunately, what happened? Yeah. Kad avdu ama bnei Yisrael yat egla, and it says bnei here, and that's according to the other version, Beit Yisrael, because the women had no part in Het HaEgel. Again, the women are more righteous, right? So it says Kad avdu ama bnei Yisrael yat egla, when the Am Yisrael made this golden calf, whatever this really means, and the symbology of what's going on.
So basically the Targum is saying that this is what whoever again
Right, I guess maybe we could have read the pasuk first. Shechora ani v'na'ava benot Yerushalayim ke'ohalei kedar ke'yiriyot shlomo. So, it's saying basically Am Yisrael is speaking. It's saying Shechora ani, that I am black, I am blackened, v'na'ava, but still beautiful. Benot Yerushalayim, here the daughters of Yerushalayim is referring to the nations of the world. In this mashal that shir, hashirim, Adon, or Zamir point Shlita, I think via Rashi as well. So it says ke'ohalei kedar. I'm blackened like the tents of Kedar are the tents that are set up in the desert, because all of the desert storms turn the canvas already black. It dirties everything. The sandstorms.
I'm very, very confused.
Yeah. So. So which part? Yeah.
It's weird. It's not saying I'm black like the tents and I'm beautiful like the daughters of Jerusalem, right?
Right.
So Shchora ani, I'm blackened.
Right.
I'm also beautiful like the daughters of Yerushalayim.
Right.
Like the
Ke'ohalei kedar ke'yiriyot shlomo. Right. So I don't know if I should break it down, but shift over the text of the pasuk. But basically, based on the Targum, this is sort of the breakdown of the words. And so it gives the pretext. What does this mean? When Am Yisrael sinned with the Egel, it says, Itkadru apehon. Their faces blackened, like a sign of death. Life is light and everything, illumination. So their face is blackened. Kibnoi de Kush. Like the children of Cush that are Sharian b'mashkanei Kedar, that they dwell in the desert tents, that the desert storms, when they're out there, they are blackened and dirtied, as is all of their tents, specifically here. So as a reference to something that is considered, that it has been just simply dirtied, surviving in these desert conditions. Right, itkadru apehon, meaning like they darkened and became like black looking, like the life literally left them. Even at Har Sinai, when they heard the voice of Hashem, was Het HaEgel immediately after that, or before that? Before that, I think. You have to see and examine again, such a cryptic event, what is really going on and what's happening. Okay, so it says, literally, just all we could do at this point in time is translate the words literally, and that's what we can do. Right? V'kad tavu b'tiyuvta, but when shavu b'teshuvah, but when they returned with and did teshuvah for this act, v'ishtavik lehon, and they were forgiven, and all of them were forgiven for this act, k'yiriot shlomo, immediately they now became like the Yiriot, or like the walls of Shlomo's palace. So the Targum is Siga Ziv Yikar Apehon Kemalachaya. Saga is to increase, Ziv is splendor, Yikar is like honor of their face, Kemalachaya, their face illuminated and shone, like when a person's excited and happy and everything, like they say, you're glowing, this phrase. That their face was glowing like the face of Malachaya, the face of, for our purposes, angels right now. Again, there's a difference in Aramaic between angel, where angels comes from in English, and other languages, angel in Russian. But there's a difference between angel, angele meroma, and malachaya. So these two words exist, and obviously there are no synonyms, so different concepts.
From what I understand, malach has more of a purpose.
They all have a purpose.
Specific. I mean, again,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
like I'm saying, a specific mission. They're sent into this
yeah.
world for something.
That's the difference, I think. Exactly.
Something specific, and
Angels are
can
angele meroma. Well, angele from basically, I mean, from what we understand so far, angelim are these beings that are only like heavenly beings that Hashem generates. They again help Hashem, Has Shalom. Hashem generates them, yeah, whatever it is. Again, Hashem put in a system in play that it winds up that we're in this physical universe completely almost concealed of Hashem's presence on one hand. This whole system of whatever it is, however
It's just layers. That's what it is.
layers of whatever it is. And malachim are even prophets, and also malachim are called judges, and malachim are messengers, literally, and malachim are, again, Moshe was called a malach Hashem, so people who reach the level of a malach, literally being like someone who can traverse, kind of, go in between, you know, in between these spiritual dimensions. With purpose, of course, but also Rabbi Kaplan Zatzal maybe would say, with meditation and everything, we have to be on a level, you have to learn, you have to ground yourself, assuming you do get somewhere, right? You have to know where you are, how to identify where you are, how to get back, you know, it's an important thing, how to get back immediately, you know. They say one time in a mystical state or something that one of the sages was not like coming back and refused to like come back down, and they had to like touch him with like an impure cloth or something because of that this sensitivity, and he immediately returned. Yeah, broke the connection. Again, could be saying like how you're saying how they try to ruin our purity, but how important the actual purity is and things like that. I'll tell you another crazy thing because I don't know if you like these things, but yeah, absolutely.
Again,
That's
I
also.
related to like again in like a Marvel movie, one of the recent ones, like Doctor Strange looked forward in time. You know, like he was supposedly been 14,605,000 outcomes he looked at of the upcoming battle and all the different angles and whatever. And like, and he was doing this in a matter of seconds. He had the weapon called the time stone. And like you said, it controls time, but in order to utilize that power and to be able to break that connection, like he almost did, like they were saying, like that's what they were saying. They were worried that he might not come back, but just
Right.
like he was just spacing out, like where was he?
Interesting.
He was
Okay.
not there, like.
Exactly, like you can use that as a reference or whatever. That kind of state, they had to make sure that they bring him back, because yeah, you don't want to lose your teacher.
Yeah, you
Just
don't
refuses to.
It was literally like
Yeah, absolutely.
their best case scenario against their villain, you know. So just
Right, absolutely. So, just like, right. So that illumination of once they were cleansed, they did teshuvah, their face is shown, changed, right, like the malachim. Ve'al de'avdu yiri'ata lemashkena, and because they built and made the yeriot, like the walls of the Mishkan, all of Am Yisrael gave forth all the materials that are needed. Hashem gave them all the materials when He took him out, and gave them all the wealth of Egypt, gave him everything. And it says, immediately, Usherath benehon shechinta da Hashem, and dwelled Sharath benehon, between them and amongst them, shechinta, the presence of Hashem. Once Am Yisrael built the Mishkan, because Hashem says, V'asu li mikdash v'shachanti betocham. Once you build this mikdash, my presence will now dwell within all of Am Yisrael. You'll feel it. Once this building is built properly, I guess it's like if you were talking about some kind of spiritual antenna, radio tower, whatever it is, whatever language you could use.
Which building are we talking about here?
The Mishkan. Right, once it's properly built and everything, Hashem's presence then dwells between Am Yisrael, amongst everyone.
Sounds like, again, a dimension
Right, it's literally paralleling the heavenly realm on earth and bringing God's presence down to earth, whatever this could mean. Again, how Hashem is so humble and cares about what we're doing and descends to the lowest place, literally. It's truly an amazing thing. Which is again the hardest thing. When someone's in a hard situation, normally the person would not want to go and help them. They're in danger. You don't want to go to that dangerous place to help them.
Yeah.
But Hashem helps you from the lowest, most dangerous, deadly place nobody would reach out and think of doing. Not broken up like that, like it did.
I know, but
It's a topic for another time. No, but exactly that reference. When you're walking in the darkest place, that you're not afraid because Hashem is with you. Of course, okay. And I get stuck here. But it says, immediately once the presence of Hashem now descended amongst all of Am Yisrael, Moshe Rabban, and Moshe their Rabban, their leader of all of Am Yisrael, Moshe Rabban, Salik Lirakia, Ole Lirakia. He goes up into the heavens. Slicks, yeah, it's like slick out. Salik out of there. And he goes up to the Rakia, and what does Moshe do? V'yehav shalam benehon uven malkehon. In Moshe made shalom, peace, translated, made complete between Am Yisrael uben malkehon, and between the king, meaning Hashem. Because again, this Chet HaEgel that Moshe had to pray and defend Am Yisrael. How many times Moshe defended Am Yisrael? But that's exactly what Hashem is looking for in a leader. That's exactly why he chose Moshe. Yeah.
This is like, if you break it up,
Yeah.
you literally just have to break it up. You write Shparani Ke'ale Kedar Benava Beno Yerushalayim Ke'yirot Shlomo. It's like a song.
Interesting.
It's rhythmic. It's like poetical. It's a poetic sentence. You have to read it like that. It's like, how like sentences rhyme with, like with the second, every second sentence rhymes or whatever. That's the rhythm for this sentence. Is Shechorani Ke'ale Kedar Benava Beno Yerushalayim Ke'yirot Shlomo. Literally, that's what it is.
That's very interesting, yeah. Why phrase it like that, phrase it like this, and what's the difference between...
He says the adjective, he says...
If I broke it up better, if I
He's-
moved Ke'ohale Kedar under the Shechora Ani Benava...
No, but then you wouldn't read it.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, you're right.
But again, that's definitely the rhythm for this sentence. Even where I don't know that word,
Right.
that's the poetic way of writing of this specific sentence, in my opinion.
No, of course. So once you see how you would want to say it and you feel like it would make sense, now you have to think about, again, why is it not written like that, and what is this teaching,
That could be just again, Sharan even Avav not Yerushalayim, like he's saying the first, like he's saying how he is first, right? He's saying, or how
Again,
we
this
are
is-
first,
right, exactly,
Israel,
right.
But again, at face value, he's saying himself as well, right?
Well, again, speaking in the feminine, it's not at face value. It's already, the whole thing is a parable.
Yeah, you
It's,
can't. Okay,
yeah.
fine. I hear you.
No, absolutely, but it
So
is
even
supposed
still-
to be a poem. It is supposed to have a rhythm
still,
and
he's-
ta'amim
yeah.
to guide us with this. Yeah.
He describes us first, and then he gives the descriptions for those two descriptions. Because again, I was saying, like, he gives the adjective first, and he gives
Right. Yeah. I mean,
description on the description. He's describing.
right. It goes into detail. It's very descriptive. I mean, you could break it up poetically, but based on the Targum, that's why it's broken up like this. But it should be Shchora Ani Benava Benot Yerushalayim, and over there is Etznachta, which is like the second strongest stop. Of course, the Sof Pasuk, the end of the Pasuk, is the strongest stop. I mean, including the spaces in the Torah scroll, but basically it should be Ke'ohale Kedar, Ke'yeriot Shlama, opposite one another. Ke'ohale Kedar on one hand, Ke'yeriot Shlama. That when they sinned, they were Ke'ohale Kedar. When they did Teshuvah, Ke'yeriot Shlama. And when they, so it could be more broken up like that, but based on the Targum, it breaks up cleaner like this, although normally you don't have, like, the Atnachta really is the end. Alright, so to recap, the power of Teshuvah essentially is taught in this passage. So, Kol Tuv, we'll see you in the